All right, if you're a golfer, you know the feeling, right? That awful sinking feeling of watching your perfect drive turn into that giant curving banana ball that dives deep into the woods. But what if I told you the fix isn't another swing lesson? What if it's just about cheating the physics? Today we're going to look at the slice in a totally new way.
And look, this is the whole idea right here. We are going to stop blaming your swing, your hips, your shoulders, all that stuff. We're going to start looking at the simple, predictable forces that make that little white ball do what it does.
But first, let's just paint a picture. And I have a feeling this is going to sound really familiar to a lot of you.
Oh, you know this one. You step up, you feel great, you make a great swing, and for about 50, maybe 75 yards, that ball is a laser beam. It's perfect. And then it's like an invisible string yanks it to the right. It just starts curving and doesn't stop. It's the most soul-crushing shot in amateur golf, for sure.
And for years, what have we been told? You're coming over the top. You're not clearing your hips. You're casting from the top. It's always treated like it's your fault, like a personal failing. But here's the thing. That golf ball is just a little plastic sphere. It has no idea what your hips are doing. It just doesn't care.
And this, right here, should feel so freeing. The ball only responds to the collision. That's it. So if we can just understand that collision and learn how to manipulate it, we can fix the slice. It's not about being a better athlete, it's about being a slightly smarter physicist.
Okay, so with that new mindset, let's just blow up the biggest myth out there about why a golf ball curves in the first place.
So any spinning ball in any sport, a curveball in baseball, a bending free kick in soccer, all of it is governed by something called the Magnus effect. Basically, the backspin on a golf ball creates a high-pressure area underneath it and a low-pressure area on top. That difference creates lift, which is why a golf ball seems to hang in the air.
So, this leads to the explanation we've all heard a million times. You sliced it because you put side spin on the ball. Simple enough, right? But is that really what's happening?
Nope, wrong. There's really no such thing as pure side spin in a functional golf shot. If you could even do it, the ball would have no lift and just fall out of the sky. The key, the huge insight, is that every shot has backspin. A slice is just what happens when the axis of that backspin is tilted. The Magnus effect is still creating lift, but now it's lifting the ball up and to the side.
Okay, this brings us to the single most important idea in all of ball flight. I mean it. If you can really wrap your head around this one concept, you've basically got it all figured out.
And that concept is the spin axis. Just picture an axle going right through the middle of the ball as it's flying through the air. To put it as simply as possible, your only job to fix your slice is to make that imaginary axle more level. That's it.
And this is the absolute best way to think about it, for real. A perfect straight shot, that's an airplane with its wings totally level. The lift is pushing it straight up and forward. A slice, that's an airplane banking hard to the right. Its wings are tilted, so the force is pushing it up, but also way out to the right. The more tilt, the sharper the turn.
Okay, that makes sense. So what the heck is tilting the axis? That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? What's actually causing that airplane to bank so hard to the right? It all happens in that tiny, tiny fraction of a second at impact. And the tilt is created by the difference between just two things. The direction your club head is actually moving, we call that the swing path, and the direction your club face is actually pointing. All right, if you remember one thing from this whole explainer, make it this. This is the golden rule. The ball will always, always curve away from your swing path and toward your face angle. So for us right-handed slicers, that means we are swinging the club to the left of our target, but our club face is pointing to the right of that swing path. That gap between the two is what creates that nasty slice spin.
Now let's put some numbers to this so you can really see how it works against you. A typical slicer swings out to in, right? That means their path is going left. In this example, it's a whopping 10 degrees to the left. At the same time, their club face is a little bit open, maybe just 2 degrees to the right. Well, the difference between 10 degrees left and 2 degrees right is a massive 12 degrees. That creates a 12-degree axis tilt, and boom, there's your banana ball. So we get the problem now. We understand the equation. So how do we fix it without spending 1,000 hours on the range trying to perfect our swing? Well, now we get to the fun part. We're going to hack the system. We're going to break this down into 3 simple categories of cheats. These are real, tangible things you can do to manipulate that physics equation in your favor, a lot of them before you even swing the club. First up, your gear. Most modern drivers are like little science experiments you can tinker with, so use them. Cranking up the loft on the club often closes the face a little bit, which helps. But the big one is that slidable weight. Move that thing all the way over to the heel of the club. That makes the toe of the club lighter, which helps it snap shut through impact all by itself. It's a freebie.
Next, your setup. Before you even start your swing, try strengthening your grip. That just means rotating both of your hands a little bit to the right on the club. This encourages the face to close. Now here's a kind of counterintuitive one. Aim your feet and shoulders a little bit to the right of the target. This closed stance makes it physically harder for you to swing out to in and promotes a much straighter path.
Okay, for our final cheat, we're going to get a little nerdy with the physics, but stick with me because this one is a game changer. There's this principle called the horizontal gear effect, and what it means is that where you hit the ball on the club face can actually introduce its own spin, totally separate from your path and face angle.
So here's the mind-blowing part. A shot hit on the heel of the club, that's the part closer to you, naturally creates slice spin. And guess where most amateur slicers hit the ball? You guessed it, right on the heel. But a shot on the toe actually creates hook spin. It's a natural anti-slice mechanism built right into the club. So if you can focus on hitting the ball just a little more toward the toe, you can literally use physics to cancel out your slice.
So what's the big takeaway here? What do I want you to walk away with? It's this. Stop chasing a perfect, beautiful swing. Forget about it. Instead, just become a manager of the physics equation at impact. Your one and only goal is to make that gap between your path and your face smaller, and get that spin axis as flat as you possibly can.
Look, that slice isn't some mystical curse or a permanent flaw in your athletic DNA. It's just an equation. And by using these cheats, your gear, your setup, your strike point, you can start to solve it. You don't need to be a genius. You just need to show up to the golf course being a slightly better physicist than you were yesterday.